jump on, say hi. Natalie, I see your comment in there on time. Look at you guys. I love it. Happy Wednesday. I'm so excited for today's memory lane, aka layout share, where we get to be inspired and gain inspiration. And we specifically are going to be looking at layouts designed by our design team member, Jennifer. So Jennifer, jump on, say hi.
Hi, everyone.
You've probably seen a lot of Jennifer's layouts in the community and other places, but Jennifer, just share just a quick little bit about yourself.
Well, I live in Minnesota. I'm a mom of 4, stay at home pretty much. So, and I just love Kiwi Lane.
How long have you been scrapbooking for?
Off and on for about 20 years, but I would say like actually scrapbooking, probably since about COVID when I was forced to stay home like everyone else. And I had to find a way to fill my time. And I thought, okay, it's time to start preserving all those memories that I just kind of said someday.
Right. Tell me again how you first learned about Kiwi Lane or introduced to Kiwi Lane. It's been a while.
Yeah, it was through Google search actually, because like I said, I had free time. I wanted to start preserving my memories, but it had been so long since I actually did it that I started searching, how to scrapbook because I had stacks of paper, but I didn't know how to put them together in a way that I found appealing, or that wasn't just a couple pictures excuse me, just thrown down on a paper. And so I started Googling how to scrapbook and I kept finding your videos, and how to make paper kits and do this and do that. And so I started watching them and I finally just said, okay, I'm going to get a couple sets. And back then you still had the paper catalog. So I ordered that and I got a couple sets, and you had done, I think it was on YouTube or something. Let's create a couple pages together. And so I did them with you because I happened to have purchased those supplies and I liked it. So then that catalog just became my checklist.
Okay.
Check, ordered that one, check. And the collection grew and so did the pages.
Right. And so did the pages. And they're beautiful pages, guys. Like, I'm so excited to share with you some of her pages today. And just again, to gain that instant inspiration. And there's nothing like seeing, learning through those finished pages, just either revisiting techniques, hearing other people's creative processes, or just discovering new ways to use what you have, kind of like what you were talking about, Jennifer, there too, and finding fresh ways to adapt ideas or her ideas that she's going to share with us to your personal style. And we were talking a little bit about that personal style, even though we're kind of all utilizing the same tools and process with the play to create, philosophy and things like that. But I will say, and we're kind of teasing you guys here, but again, I will say, Jennifer, you have a specific style. I was talking to you about that. That's just really eye-catching and very satisfying to look at. What do you in general like? Inking is something that comes to mind, like that you try really hard to use, or what's one thing that you would say from like an overall go-to?
Yeah, for sure.
Identifies your personal style.
There's stamping and there's inking. When I was first introduced to scrapbooking, I had found it through Close to My Heart, which sadly is no more. So I do have, as you can see behind me, an extensive stamp collection and, inks. And so I try to, in some way, include that. And then, when I make my pages, I tend to have like the left page is like my main focal page. Usually where my title is, and
right.
There's usually only 1 or 2 photos there, and to me that's kind of where you start, and then the second page kind of complements it, but has more of the photos and less of the
follow-up,
more of the story as opposed to that one eye-catching photo.
Okay. So that makes sense to me, but that's good to hear you say that. And then I'm like, keep that in mind as we're looking at Jennifer's pages. Well, again, we're going to walk through each one since we have her with us here live. And we just hope that you gain some inspiration. I will just tell you, we should have like a big warning across these videos. That warning, you're going to have an awful itch. You're going to really die to be into your scrapbooking room and scrapbooking, because these ideas are just going to like fill your cup and just make you have that impatient itch that you're just gonna die until you itch it. But so we apologize now, I guess is what I'm saying. All right, so let's jump right into those and take a peek. And I love how you said like incorporating your supplies and stamping and other inking techniques, and then ultimately how you lay out your designs as well. Let's see here. There it is. All right. Okay. So let's walk down this memory lane. So first up is this layout. I actually remember when you first posted this layout, I was like, oh my gosh, these flowers, everything, these little details and layers. I was like, she just kept layering and it's beautiful.
Thank you. So, but yeah, again, that main focal photo on the left side with the title. So I like to do things in odd numbers. So every single one of those flowers has 3 layers to it.
Okay.
That seems to be a little more visually appealing. And when I do my clusters like this in a visual triangle where there are 3, as you go from left to right, I kind of like to take the approach of a gallon, a quart, and a pint. So 3 different sizes of embellishments. Clusters.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
As opposed to it all being the same size.
Okay.
So it kind of gradually, changes size. Otherwise, it's just, all competing for attention. And then the flowers, they're all done on white paper.
Oh.
So those are all.
Oh, yeah. And then you inked them. That's right.
Yep.
I remember asking you that once. Okay.
Yep.
Talk
So
about that a little bit.
Yeah, all white cardstock, and I just found complementary colors to the paper kit and to the photos, obviously. And I just took my blending brushes and inked them all.
Okay.
The only thing that isn't white paper is obviously the centers, but it's all white cardstock that's been inked and then shaped.
And are you using what's that called? The ballpoint thing to shape yours, or using like a pencil?
Yep. So they're flower shaping ballpoint stylus. I bought a set. I think it's like 5 or 6 of them that I got off of Amazon.
Okay.
And so I just use a soft mat. So you can use a mouse pad if you don't have one. And then you just kind of roll those ball styluses to loosen all the paper fibers so that they're more pliable to shape. And then the petals, I just curl, back and forth, alternating the back and forth so that they're not all uniform. And I use my paper piercer.
Awesome.
That's really pretty. Paper piercer where? On what?
To shape the petals.
Oh, to round it around your paper piercer. Yeah. Okay, like the rounding it around the thing. Okay.
Long, and mine's like 20 years old.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I just use that to help shape the petals.
That makes sense. A lot of times people use like a pencil, but paper piercer is just a little thinner than a pencil. So that
right.
Makes sense.
So you can get more detail, but some of them, where they're just curled back, or the blue ones, you can just use your pencil.
I love that.
And like the big pink one has a tighter curl to them. So, that's where the paper piercer comes in.
And thinking of like little collages or groupings as gallons, liters, quarts, that's really fun. That's a really fun thought. Yeah, that's really fun. All right. Beautiful.
Thank you.
All right. Here's this other layout. 'Tis the season. How fun.
So, yep. And so this one is an inked background.
Okay.
I use my distress oxide inks to create that night sky. And then, of course, with the cardstock, I also inked with coordinating colors. And then I do have a flip flap underneath the bottom middle square where the little mummy pizzas are. And so there's additional photos underneath that.
Okay.
So, and then this one is like the only, or one of the only, I'm not 100% sure that there isn't one more, but one of the only that I have my journaling on the left page, because normally I would have it on the right.
You tend to move to your right. I do too, actually, but I don't know if I've actually paid attention to that. But now that you said that, it made me think. I was like, huh, like, do I? I do remember again when you shared this initially, the globe, and I was like, oh my gosh, there are so many fun ways that you could kind of build out this circle globe type effect,
Right. And it was from that we are here. I was here.
Right.
Template. Yeah. which was more of like a travel thing. But when I saw it, I instantly saw a globe, and so I took that in a triangle
Oh,
and
how fun.
created the globe.
And this could be done for, like, I could just see it being done again for like a Christmas page, a winter page. Like, it's so cute to see it for this Halloween page, but you could really have a lot of places to kind of structure a scene like you did there.
Yeah, and I
And
actually did one that I put in the community probably around December, January. That was a snow one.
oh, I'll have to go find that one again. But I vaguely, like, now that you mention it, I'm like, oh, I vaguely remember. You also included punches in here, like the webs. Are those like a punch? You also include.
That's a die cut.
Okay.
The bats are just embellishments that I had in my stash.
Okay.
The broom is a die from a Stampin' Up set. And the crow and the books are also from that set. And then I used the hat and the cauldron are Kiwi Lane templates, and so are the treat bags.
Oh, the hat. You
Yeah. And then the cat is a sticker that I had in my collection.
Okay, stickers in there. So again, pulling from that stash. And gosh, we say it so many times here at Kiwi Lane, but as a scrapbooker, like, we really play friendly. We want you to pull in these other elements. And this page just really showcases that beautifully. You got die cuts, you got paper, you got embellishments and stamps and stickers and paper templates and all of these fun things. And then of course your pictures so well displayed. What fun memories. I can't believe it's almost Halloween. I literally cannot believe it. All right, here's another fun page.
So, yep. So this one was like scraps left over after I did my 3 main layouts from this kit.
Kiwi Club. Okay.
Yep. So I think this kit was from June of last year or the year before, and really the only paper that I had left was the yellow that I used in the sun and that stripe. The rest of it is just cardstock from my stash. But I had these great pictures, and I had that splash zone that just kind of went perfectly with the pictures. And, you know, I thought, okay, I could stretch this out to another layout. And I did inking. I love splatter, but sometimes if you're doing splattering, it kind of gets messy and out of hand. So I used a stamp to do what, you know, those of us that stamp call controlled splatter, to make all those water splatter like background
that's a
images.
great tip. Yeah, that's really great.
Yeah.
Because sometimes it is intimidating to do the splatter. So it's always like the thing that I'm like, okay, I'm going to go do this and I'm going to move everything out of the way so I don't splatter anything on anything.
Well, and usually it's an afterthought and you've got everything down.
I know.
And you're like, do I really want to risk ruining my layout?
So true.
So that's when the controlled splatter comes in great.
Yeah, so true.
We already passed.
But we did explain how we did the snow globe. She used I Was Here template and flipped it over here on the thing. Yes. And I could try to find that because maybe a visual aid, because I didn't even see it at first until she mentioned it. But we
You want me to grab mine?
Oh, do you have it right there with you?
I think I can find it real quick.
So we can give a visual aid to that because that's a really fun. Oh, I have it too if you didn't find it.
I'm still looking.
I got it then. I got it. I'll beat you to it. Look at that. Yay for the tabs. Yeah, so she used this. I Was Here number 7, but she used of course, not the grids inside of it on that.
And then a triangle for the base.
And then a triangle for the base. Yep. And you could show that again, Dave, the layout. So just a reference there, visual aid. Because we're visual. Naturally, we're visual, which is why we encourage visual tactile play. So we totally get it.
So this is how I keep my templates. And so when I came up with the design, I sketched it out.
Oh, look
my
at
original
you.
idea.
Okay.
Tracing all the templates, and then I just put it all in there. And when I cut the base out, I just kind of threw it in there, and I labeled, you know, that it was the triangle set, and I have it all in there so that when I pull this out, if I want to do another snow globe, I know exactly what I need.
That's so fun. There you go. Another great tip. Very creative. So fun.
Awesome.
All right, let's take a peek at our next layout here. So we went through that one. I was going to say, wow, impressive, because you mentioned you on your Kiwi Club, you got 3 2-page layouts, so 6 pages, however you calculate it. And then you're like, I always feel that way. I don't know about you. Like when I have my Kiwi Club kit out, I just kind of want to use the rest of the paper. So it's like,
Right.
I'm like, let's just use the rest now before I put it away. Well,
Because if
then
I
you don't
do,
even
I'm
have to
never
put
going
it
to dig
away.
it back out.
Yeah, exactly. And I love how you said that. Like you're like, so then at that point, I just went back into my paper stash and grabbed some cardstock and other elements. But I will say the inking on the trees, was that green paper or did you just ink it green?
No, that was most of my cardstock that I use is either white and I ink it, or it's close to my heart because I was a maker for 7 years. So I
Right.
have all their colors and ink pads. So that's all close to my heart paper.
Okay.
And then I just inked it in the corresponding color.
So if you have it in your stash, there you guys go. Pull it out and hopefully inspire you to play to create with it. Here's another really fun. This one, I will say, when I saw what this being the club kit and I saw your sample, I just loved the addition of the camera. Everything just, I don't know what it was. It just feels exciting and like
significant.
Yeah,
So,
like
yeah.
significant. Yeah.
I loved this kit, but I was like, I've never traveled overseas, which is what that paper with that, kind of Italian background made me think of.
I did just DC pictures. So yes, but it does kind of get that vibe for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. And so, I thought vineyard kind of a thing when I saw it. But then, my son is National Guard and he was sent overseas to Macedonia, and he had sent us all these pictures of their cultural day where they weren't training. And so I thought it would be perfect overseas pictures. So, I collected all of them and tried to get the story from him. And I was having so much fun putting the layout together that I forgot about the journaling. And I'm like, now what? I've got to squeeze this in somewhere because, he, a year later had forgotten the story when I was asking him questions. So I had to go through a year of messages on my phone to find the details.
Yes, yes.
And, I'm like, if he doesn't remember, how am I going to? So I had to journal it all in there. So I thought, okay, I'm going to put a pocket on the back of the page since my embellishments go to the top.
Okay.
Then I can just kind of have it pop out of the top of the page, and it can be an interactive element where you pull it out from the back and have the story of what happened.
Oh, that's a fun journaling tip. So you guys see her little tag up here. That's basically she's saying she made it element coming from the back end of the page.
Yeah, and I do have the pages here if you need to
see.
see.
Yeah, let's see it. Yeah.
Okay, let me find that one.
Okay.
Barbara says, love how that one has lots of pictures.
So here's the page, and I totally forgot about it. So I just made a library pocket on the back with scraps. And because I had a little texture on the front, I didn't want to add foam tape and add more texture. So I just took cardstock and accordion folded it back and forth so it wasn't as thick as foam tape.
Okay.
That way it would provide the rails so that this would go right into its place. And I put my story in. And then a couple layouts later, I found a couple more pictures. And so I had the back, and I just threw those on the back.
That's awesome.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's really great. And I was going to say this kit, the little, I guess, photo strip thing is just really fun. It instantly encourages you to put more pictures on. I know a lot of people are talking about that. So that's really fun about this. And I will say again, I love, you talk about your boys and your thing. And I always hear people talk about, well, I have boy pictures. I don't want to put like flowers on it. And I'm always like, I don't know. I feel like flowers are not, maybe you would not use like bright pinks or something, but this is just such a beautiful page that, is travel from a theme point, right? And you did put some travel elements like the compass and the I was here, little icon, but then you just clustered it with these flowers to kind of add a stylistic, like a very warm elegance to it. Yeah.
I mean, I don't think you could ever go wrong with flowers. I mean, again, like I said, no bright pinks on a boy page, but there's nothing wrong with having flowers on a boy page.
I agree. It's just something that you often hear. And so like when you see it in action, like where flowers are being used, I always like to showcase that example that kind of like contradicts that opinion, because I'm like, I think it can be done. So if you're hesitant, I will just say, use this as an example that it can be done with like class. You know what I mean? Like, it's really nice. I love it. And I love hearing also, I will say, outside of the styles and the things, your groupings again. So do you have any thought process of like what your groupings were here? Because you did really fun groupings.
Well, again, I tried to keep it, towards the gallon, quart, pint. So to me, the side that has the journaling and the camera, even though there are extra photos in there in that photo strip, I consider all of that a part, because the embellishments are on the top and bottom. So I consider all of that one big cluster that extends. And so to me, that would be my gallon. And then on the bottom, you've got, the heart map and the compass, that would be my pint. And then, the title is smaller clusters. That would be my quart.
Love that. Okay. So again, taking it in kind of like a framework really helps, and it's fun to hear other people's approach to their layouts. And I was going to say earlier, like, I just loved hearing how you started to use the inspiration from the kit to kind of create almost a project of going and gathering these memories. And what a special page to have. It's so fun.
So yeah, because it makes him think back to those memories that he had totally forgotten a year later, and
right,
he'll always have it, and the story that he shared via text.
Yeah, yeah, via text. I love that. All right, here's another fun page.
So obviously, this one doesn't follow the gallon, quart, pint because there's only two main clusters. But to me, it's more about the story. And sometimes I may include just a couple pictures, but it's about the story as opposed to, the bigger embellishment with all the photos.
Right.
So this was my sister-in-law. She's since passed away. But, my girls at that time didn't realize that she was a twin, and this was their favorite aunt.
Oh.
And it was my youngest daughter's 5th birthday, and they came over to take her to Knott's Berry Farm. And they did a double take when they saw two of them.
Oh.
They were both so excited, and they started yelling, "We each get one! We each get one!"
Oh, that's adorable. That is a beautiful story.
So, and this kit just, went so beautifully with the photos that I couldn't resist.
Yeah. So I just recently, literally, it's still sitting on my table. I'm not even joking. I finally found a little diamond punch thing for that fancy frills border.
Oh, the teardrop?
Yeah, the teardrop. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've looked for it. Every time I pull it out, I do a Google search to see if I can find it, because I know that if I share it, somebody's going to ask me where I got it. And
I actually should just go to I did get it on Amazon, I will say, but only because I had another customer at a show, and we were talking about it, and then she was like, "Susan," and then she actually is the one who sent me the link. And I could just look at my order history, but just a little side note, because years later, I know everyone's talking about it, and I was always fine doodling it, but then once I don't even know who did it first, but I remember somebody said, "Oh, I have the teardrop punch," and then they used it, and I was like, "Oh, dang it, now I need a teardrop punch." I was like, yeah, so totally fun. Let me see if I can find it really fast, and then I think I can multitask. We'll see. Oh, I did find it. I'm gonna throw it in the chat, guys, and you guys are welcome. Because I felt the same way. Like, I was like, "Dang it, now I need it." But
hurry, it'll be sold out.
I know it'll be sold out before no. I will say I haven't 100% tested my size, but it looks right. I have a crop this weekend. We're so excited. We always get together with some local people here in Charlotte, and so I'm going and I'm scrapbooking this weekend. I'm scrapbooking, and I plan to take it. That's why it's out on the table. So, all right. And I have so much inspiration just from Jennifer's pages that she's sharing here. I love it. Okay. I'm a sucker for fall. So, this just speaks to my heart so much.
So, yeah. So I love fall as well. And I loved that large leaf template.
Yes.
One of my favorites. So I brought that out, and some of the fall leaves in other collections. I am words are escaping me today. Sorry. I embossed them.
Yes, the leaves
embossing folder.
Okay.
So the viney leaf, in case anyone's wondering, that's my absolute favorite one for leaves in fall. And then I brought out the texture a little bit more by adding gold lunar paste to the leaves. So, and those are all three done in, four, five, one, two, three, four, yeah, five different colors of leaves there. They're all done close to my heart cardstock. So
Okay.
dry embossed and lunar paste. And then the gold leaves are just a dye from my stash.
So pretty.
So the title is stamped onto the background. And
okay, so you stamp fall fun onto the background. Yep.
Yep. And then just another library pocket for the journaling.
That's fun. So brave to stamp something on the back of your thing. I'm not a pro when it comes to stamping. I'll be the first to admit it. I'm always like, but it looks so fun. And
a Misty is necessary for big
yes,
like that.
yes.
Because then if you don't get it right, you can just re-stamp it in the same spot. I would never freehand that.
I said, and Amy Matthews just said, I love the inking of the flowers. I can use all my Stampin' Up stuff. So yay. Yes. Pull out your stash. Let's start creating some pages and finishing some pages and just enjoying the hobby fully. And there's nothing better than using up some supplies. I think that's wonderful.
Well, we invest all this money into them.
Yes. Let's use them. Yes. Which is where the consistency and having a go-to tried and true rhythm that can help you kind of initiate and then start pulling from your stash. I've always talked about that, right? Like initiate your design with visual and tactile play. And then before you know it, it just starts sparking. Oh, I have this in my stash, or I have this in my stash, you know? Yep. So yes, we invest in it all. We want to use it. I love it. I love it so much. And then on the journaling, did you do the same technique?
So, yep. So I put a library pocket on the back of the page again so that I can include the story.
Such a fun tip on that, guys. Okay. And then here's another fun one.
So yeah, I think this is probably my all-time favorite scrapbook page that I made.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, the gears were just so fun to use. So the background is white cardstock, and I scored it at various different intervals between 1/2 inch all the way up to 1.5 inches. And then I just ran an ink pad over it to create that wood grain texture.
Oh, fun.
So
nice way to use up those solid cardstocks and add depth to them. That's really fun.
And then the red and blue strips are just cardstock that I created a background on with my stamps.
Okay, so you stamp the pattern onto them.
The black and white kind of.
The bottom one. Yeah.
Bottom one, yeah. Mm-hmm. And then I had purchased a SVG file of the tools. And so I wanted to use that, and I made all the tools, but it just wasn't substantial enough. And I just wasn't loving the way that the layout was coming together. So I pulled out my Kiwi Lane templates and pulled out all the gears and created all of those, put them through an embossing folder again. It's another Tim Holtz one. It's the crackled background. And then I wanted to include my story. So underneath that main photo on the left page, I mounted that on foam tape. And then that's a pull out. You hold onto the gear and pull that out, and the story's on the backside.
Oh, fun. Fun. I love how you're like kind of gotten to the spot where you added your other elements. And then you're like, okay, I need a backdrop now. I need something to kind of keep layering on. So I love it.
Yeah. And I mean, Kiwi Lane does it every time.
Yeah. Yeah. We were saying earlier, keep layering, keep playing. You never know when that inspiration will strike, for sure, because sometimes it just takes just a few more layers to build up and give it dimension.
Right. Yeah. And I mean, when you're not sure, just add another layer and it's going to come together.
All right, so here's another one.
Yep. So this was my boys' first Cub Scout summer camp, and when I first got this kit, I was like, "What the heck am I gonna do with this? Canoeing, paddles, fish? We are not fishing people. I mean, when we first moved to Minnesota, they made us go ice fishing, and we were just like, oh hell no." But you know, I dug through all my stuff and came across these pictures, and you know, I just thought I made it work and it just looked great. And I included the journaling again under a pocket I created with some foam tape under that focal photo.
Okay.
So, and then I just attached the clouds to it as a pullout. I inked all the clouds in a gray to make them stand out from the background, and then my title is again stamped.
Title stamped. Fun. I love how you said that, like, I'm not a canoeer, but you had these pictures, you read pictures that you came across. I love when you find something and you're like, I didn't even know I had these or whatever.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so one thing, I'm going to bring it up. You do a lot of these pull out things. Now, I noticed in my own that I often recommend putting lift or pull or something. Do you keep yours out like that the whole time?
No, but when they go into their forever home on my album, I'm one of those that will cut a slit in my memory protector.
Okay.
So
Okay.
like that pull out, that cloud is going to stick on the outside of the album.
Okay.
So I don't feel like I need to write pull on there because it's going to be obvious that it's not inside the page protector.
Makes sense now. Okay. We talked a little bit about that yesterday, even with Mary. She was doing her Tip Tuesday for Kiwi Club members inside the community. And she had expressed like that's her approach to it as well. So I thought I would mention that. So, because I know a lot of times people always ask what these pullouts are like, but why would you do that? And I'm like, well, there's two ways you could go. You could either lift and pull or you can cut it out. So that makes sense. I love all the clouds too, layered behind there. So fun. Okay, talk about layering again. Like, I was like, just go for it. Like, just keep layering, guys. Keep laying, keep layering, because it's fun.
Yep. And you know, wilderness is my favorite of all the template sets, and it took me forever to hunt that one down. But I use it so much, especially having had boys that were Cub Scouts, Boy Scouts.
Right.
So I love to incorporate it into all of my outdoorsy layouts. And so like that one Macedonia layout, you saw there was a die cut compass. This is the compass that comes in the wilderness set. Yes. You know, so you've got it here too. And had I remembered it on that other layout, it would have been on that one.
I will say, even when I saw how you used the life from this kit, you put Scout Life. I mean, I think I might have said this to you already, but if I haven't, I was like, that is so brilliant. Because instantly I downloaded pictures of my dad and my mom in their Scout outfits. They were huge Scouters. And I have it on my like upcoming projects that I want to do because of your inspiration. Aww. I don't think I would ever thought to take the life and say Scout Life, but it was just perfect. I was like, oh my gosh, that is so perfect. So hopefully maybe this weekend's crop, I'll share it with you when I get it done. But
I would love to see it.
Yes,
I am still in Minnesota.
Yeah. I did intentionally go download these pictures because of this. It made me think of those pictures and I was like, I want those in my albums. I want them. So
yeah, and this was just another unexpected find as I was trying to find something to go with this kit. I forgot we had ever taken these pictures. And it was actually my husband that took most of them because my girls were at a Girl Scout event with me and he was at the Boy Scout event. But we're flipping through the pictures and then my son, my youngest one, came in and he's like, I remember that day.
Oh,
you know, it was fun. He goes, but I was trying to draw a map the entire time, which is what he's doing in that picture under the tent. He's like, I was drawing a map because I was afraid of getting lost in the woods.
Oh, the little behind the stories, man.
So that's what's in the journaling.
Okay.
You know, I thought they were just geocaching. He's like, no, Mom, I didn't want to get lost in the woods.
Well, and I will say, like, a lot of these are club kits layouts that you've done and mixed it with your stamping and your card stack, and you just beautifully display them with what you have as well. And you know, you mentioned that, and I will say that's true for me too. For whatever it's worth, is that I'm surprised when a kit comes, how that new kit kind of like guides me towards certain pictures that I would not have thought of.
Yes,
like. You know, unless you're one of those scrapbookers that are literally like caught up or go in order. I'm not. I'm emotional scrapbooker.
I think those are urban legends.
Yeah, exactly. They're unicorns for sure. But no, I find that so I actually over time with being in the QE club and creating with the club kits in general, I have definitely started to almost spiritual level say like I find it ironic when I start to do that. Like certain memories come back to mind and I scrapbook them and I'm like, wow, I really needed that right now.
Yeah,
Like, you know what I mean? I find that interesting how that happens.
for
So
sure.
I love it. I love the layers. Again, you guys died. I told you, I said we should have put a big warning across the thing that you're going to be distracted for the rest of the day and all your plans are going to be like, I don't want to do anything. I just want to go scrapbook. Like, so, all right, here's another fun outdoors kind of vibe.
Yep. And so this was, again, that I was here template, but now it's used the way that it was designed.
Yeah, the same one that she used the globe on.
Yep. And lots of rings. And I included my journaling inside a ring on the left side of the page. And then the mountains, I added a crackle stamp to give
Oh,
it
it's that embossing or stamp. So it's stamping here.
Stamp.
Okay.
Yep. So it's the crackle one. And so if your crackling goes only in one direction, then, stamp it and then flip it so that it's in the opposite direction and stamp it so that you've got both vertical and horizontal lines.
That's fun.
But yeah, so that just gave it that added visual interest so that it wasn't so flat. And so this was when we went to Arizona to visit my mother-in-law, and up there on the way, there's a reindeer petting farm in Williams. And so we stopped there, and my sons were having a great time, but they kept shoving reindeer food in my husband's pockets. And so he didn't know. And the deer kept assaulting him, and he was like, what is going on? And so that's why I had to include that story.
Yes.
Otherwise, the pictures, were great, but it wouldn't have been as special or as memorable.
Yeah.
With the story.
That's amazing. And I love the little deer. You stamped those deers, I'm assuming, and had them tucking behind the trees.
That is my heart stamp.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, the stamping on the mountain is awesome. And I love, again, the approach of that was because you didn't want it to feel flat with the cardstock. So sometimes just a little embossing or running it through a crimper or stamping on it are good techniques that help give a little bit more interest and depth to a certain element if you want it to. There was
added visual texture.
Yeah, let's go back really fast. There was one person asking on the scout thing.
Yeah.
They were saying
is it a cricket cut?
Is it a cricket cut?
The scout.
I think the scout you just stamped. Did you stamp that and then put it on
so the
tiny
scout is tiny labels.
Tiny labels template.
And then the word is cut out of the Stampin' Up! Small alphabet dies that's in the current catalog.
Okay, so it's a die cut that she used for the letters there. Cute. Yep, I know it, guys. Great ideas to add texture to mountains and trees. Jennifer adds such a nice visual details to her layouts.
Oh, thank you.
Wow, the stamping on the mountain is awesome. And it looks like you have an amazing crafting space. Lisa said, yes, behind her. We did comment on that. You guys feeling inspired? I definitely am. Definitely feeling inspired. Love it. Yes, she said before we started, I said the same comment, Lisa, and she goes, it's clean.
I am a messy crafter. So when I am creating, it's like the piles of cardstock are all over my room is wall to wall desk. And it's all covered when I'm scrapbooking.
Getting all the fun stuff out and just embracing the moments that you're reliving. I love that. Well, gosh, Jennifer, thanks so much for sharing. I'm so happy that we were able to work this out and figure out a day and a time that works because, like I said, I'm feeling inspired. I know that you guys are probably feeling inspired. And I just love all your pages. So thank you for sharing with us and being willing to share with us. So.
Yes, thank you for thinking of me and having me share. So I hope everybody likes, what they saw and that they feel up to creating. I'd love to see what you create based on anything you saw of mine.
Yes, tag her in the community. So if you end up using hers, because that's so fun to see different versions and different takes on something, right? But like I said, I have a scout page. I'm going to do. And just
I
that
can't
little
wait to see
thing.
it.
I will tag you, Jennifer. So, all right, guys, enjoy the rest of your day. Until we see each other again at our next event. I'm trying to remember. Well, club members, we have our PJ Play Day crop night on Friday, so that's coming up. And I'll have to check the calendar, check in the community for the next one. But until then, keep playing to create. All right, guys, take care. Bye now.
Bye-bye.